Now we got up on board we're gonna be doing 5 minutes, obviously 5 minute Rocket League games here, best of 5, standard stuff, right, Soy?
Right, absolutely. Yeah, best of 5, and with these types of sets, I mean, the way the EGF has kind of played out as of late, it feels like game 1 is very telling. It's very much so a case of if you can get that early lead and build that momentum, then you can kind of carry it through for the rest of the set. So I feel like for the rest of the week, that's really like the telling matchup, I guess.
Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, the first game is always going to be kind of like that litmus test and smelling salts, right? Kind of figuring out how the team that you're playing against is going to play specifically today. Obviously, we have interdivisional play, and so some teams will be facing each other more often than others. But at the end of the day, the second goal or the second kind of like mainstay, like where you really want to set your eyes to, what you want to look forward to, if you're the team that loses game number 1, is literally just shaking that off, taking what you learned from game number 1 and applying it to games 2, 3, and 4 to kind of bring that comeback in. Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, everybody watching, we have this one starting up again. We just have a little 30 seconds of, say, pre-game filler and fun that came through between this University of North Dakota and Depaul University squad. We've talked a little bit about these numbers, Soy. You want to talk to me a little bit about what's on story here for North Dakota on a win?
Well, for North Dakota, I mean, they're a team that's trying to kind of claw back into their own division. They're in that tough Western Conference with a lot of good teams. But, I mean, really the story for them it's been a tale of 2 splits. They ended the fall split at 1-7. They were on the wrong side of the coin a lot of the time. But this split, they have only lost 1 set, and I believe it was just 2 weeks ago to Marquette, if I remember correctly. So, I mean, this is a North Dakota team that I mean, all of a sudden, since 2021, they have woken up offensively and really put on a show. So DePaul, I mean, they could be in for a rough ride here. We'll have to see.
No, I hear you. It's not going to happen easily no matter what it does. Yes, on paper, DePaul University simply has more wins, less losses coming into this matchup, but I cannot stress enough what you just said. There has been a renaissance, the form of Rocket League there for your North Dakota squad. Now, up until this point, up until the spring split, I wasn't even 100% sure this state actually existed, Soy, and I know I'm not alone there. But University of North Dakota proven they exist. They will be heard, seen, felt if you're playing against them in every single way, shape, and form. Like you said, 7 L's, this many, across the winter split right there. And I can say that without feeling bad whatsoever because they've only taken 1 since then. This is a University North Dakota squad that is playing very, very well as of the last couple months. Again, I'm going to use it again. A renaissance in the form and the great esport of Rocket League. They've just simply come around and figured out what it is that they wanted to kind of recreate, what it is they wanted to stop doing, in every way, shape, and form accomplish that, except for, as you mentioned, a matchup against a tough-as-nails Marquette University squad 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, Marquette has had, a pop-off season themselves. That being said, off the double tap, Lavish is going to strike first.
And I just realized that I have to get into this game by myself. My bad. Go ahead and take it away for a second.
I mean, that was just a beautiful play. I mean, that offense gets set up and you leave Lavish all that space to work with. And, I mean, if you're the defense of North Dakota, you got to get up to that one. You can't give the offense that much space to work with because Lavish, that will happen 9 times out of 10.
I hear you. I'm still not able to see this, so I need you to keep on going, please.
No worries. So this ball chipped across middle. Shikuki's going to enter the blue zone here. Now Lavish, he'll get dunked by Geeks. Jocko chipping this one back into the blue zone and able to take control of it. And DePaul, I mean, the pressure is just mounting here. And I was going to say, one of the things that I'm looking for in North Dakota, they find a lot of success when they can get the ball going in transition. But right now, they just have not really been able to get the ball in the orange half.
I hear you. I almost just restarted my PC on accident. That would have been just a next level series of mess ups right there. Jacko coming in, making a loud name for himself already. While the song playing is flip reset, Jacko almost takes that. Not even necessarily, though. He would have found this one easy, like finding lint his pocket, Soy.
Yeah, the defense just not able to rotate back in time. And that's the other thing, too, that North Dakota has to be careful for. They usually catch a lot of teams out with their fast transitions going the other way, but they themselves are susceptible to those types of plays, not being able to rotate back fast enough. But that being said, I mean, Depaul back on the offense here.
Absolutely. Blue defense, that's University of North Dakota. Shikoki to the corner right here, trying to get up close to it. Does get there. That's Geeks doing a fantastic job. Now that is not centered out. Jacko with a takeaway right there as Blue continues to really have to try and... Okay, there you go. Absolutely. All right, well, I was going to say, the offensive pressure against them, and DePaul University just completely abandons this offensive pressure in every way, shape, and form. Maybe it's just going out of style. I don't know. Lavish to the corner. Lavish trying to get this one up with Shikoki. Shikoki gets a little bit of interaction right there, so that is going to buy his team a little bit of space. Jacko's trying to get the outside as we're now 15, 20 seconds outside of halftime. To the middle, does get it across there. A lot easier said than done, though. DePaul University, was having a whole hard time getting out there. Red Rocket, it's very close and personal. It's that's Cannonball with a demolition right there, and afterwards, now DePaul University on defense.
And here's the problem right now for North Dakota, as this actually is going to get chipped on net. That's their second shot of the game. But really, this offense is kind of getting slugged down in the corners. They can't find an easy way to center this ball on net, aside from that long shot that you finally saw here. But maybe Red Rocket with the long chance. What a save by Jocko.
Yeah, Jacko coming through all day and night. Cannonball to the middle. Nice meeting there. Shikoki is going to be able to get a hand onto this one. That looked like it might even have been an attempted kind of setup shot for the teammate right there. And if that was the case, we could have had a very quick shot right to the middle, just a gut shot to put up another one, the third total on this. Oh my goodness, Shikoki getting it done right here defensively. Fantastic stuff.
That was a huge turnaround, and Cannonball couldn't follow up on it. And on top of that, to end that play, Lavish with the juke to get that ball out of the zone. I mean, DePaul's defense right now, it's hanging on by a thread, but it's still working.
That is fair. That is fair. Hanging on by a thread, still hanging, what I'm told. 90 seconds. Shikoki out to the outside. Shikoki, unfortunately, got nothing offensively, only saves. And they've been flashy, and teammates have gotten some instead. Still, we want more rounded performances, from DePaul University squad. University of North Dakota, back to the corner. They've gotten a couple of shots on, but no shots in, attempted that is. Now 60 seconds, average of 30 seconds per goal just to tie this one up. Not great positions, even worse with Jacko almost taking this one across the top here, Soy.
Yeah, and I mean, here's the problem. Lavish goes on the air dribble there, and Shikoki's up for it, dropping it down as Red Rocket punches it forward. Now Geeks trying to redirect this one. What a save and the rebound. Jocko's got that one as well. DePaul's defense right now, I mean, it's allowing shots, but there is always a man back able to make the play.
Always, always, always. It's about those rotations, Soy. Fantastically done and executed thus far. For both squads, yes, but DePaul simply on top there more often. That's on point. No! Top Par plays the fourth man position again for your DePaul University squad. The first goal for University of North Dakota not going to come so easily, unfortunately. 12 seconds.
I mean, I don't know how that one doesn't find its way in, and they're out of time, too. What a demo from Red Rocket to keep that one out.
They get this technically, they'll get another lineup. Not going to happen. Off point, 2-0. And they get nothing. No scores across the entirety of this first game for the side of North Dakota.
And I mean, that was I'm at a loss for words, because if you look at the stats, I mean, DePaul, outside of those two early goals, that game was all North Dakota. It was chance after chance after chance. And somehow, I mean, between Jocko and Shikoki diving across, I mean, Shikoki's got a hat trick in saves. That's a savior medal right there, and that's just fantastic defense.
Yeah, the end of the day, having these many, so 5 saves total between North Dakota, or excuse me, between DePaul, only 2 on the side of North Dakota. What that really tells me, Soy, is that the simple offensive time spent for DePaul was like, yes, it was more so. Yes, they got more opportunities, but at the end of the day, because they simply got 5 saves across 5 minutes, that's crazy, bro. Like that's not so telling of a team that is just gonna be coming through and has all the time on offensive pressure. Now, again, I would love to have this stat, to have a like, and I feel like I'm no game dev, but I feel like it'd be a little bit easier to be able to track time of possession just simply based on like who touched ball last. Yes, that wouldn't be exact, that wouldn't be perfect, but I mean, what one Rocket League is, really, right? So.
Right. No, I'm the same way. I mention this a lot. That time of possession statistic is so important because, I mean, as we said, cross the halfway mark of that game, Depaul, I mean, was on the back foot the entire time. North Dakota had so many golden chances, and that defense just was able to hold on long enough. And I will say, remember how I called out that North Dakota was kind of getting trapped in the corner? That entire second half, they weren't getting trapped anymore. Those balls were getting centered. They were getting shots near the net. They just couldn't get those shots fast enough or on goal. It was one or the other.
Yeah, it really was. Well, you said a tale of 2 games earlier, tale of 2 splits. I think that's what we were actually talking about at the time. But maybe that's what we'll see here. We need whole-handed switches and changes, different strategies, and more coming out from the side of North Dakota if they're going to be looking to put something up here on game number 2. Was that at the end of the day, not being too negative, but putting up a goose egg is not good for anybody.
Ooh, that's a good shot from Geeks. Finds the angle, and I'm actually surprised he was able to put this one far post. I don't think anyone on Depaul was ready for it.
Yeah, not really. This was fast, loud, and incredibly close, Soy.
That's just, I mean, Geeks comes flying in. I mean, seemingly from out of nowhere. You got 2 players in Depaul in the back of their own net, and Shikuki, I believe, was on that far post and just was not ready for the shot. And I mean, finally, after all those chances we saw in game number 1, North Dakota's offense breaks through. Yeah.
That's exactly what the doctor ordered here. Less than 60 seconds as well, so it's not like there was really any time lost right there, Stoy. End of the day, you only have so many resources in your Rocket League game. Time's going to be one of them. Just like that, though, Paul University, they don't like hearing the Tug talk. Getting the score, what? This says 30 seconds on, but 15 seconds or so was added up by lineup time and whatnot else. Again, Rocket League not perfect. 15 seconds or so. We'll be taking you from the 410 score first for the University of North Dakota down to 355 score for Depaul.
And that was such a good play by Lavish to recognize, not only does he get the dunk, but then he sees that the mid boost is there and he's immediately up to take that shot. And again, just the defense of North Dakota not really rotating back in time. Ooh, that was a tight angle, but Lavish can't find the redirect.
Yep, a Heartbreak Hotel. It's going to happen. Nicely done as Jacko not going to have any problems with his redirect.
I mean, this one, Red Rocket doesn't find the second touch, and there's no one back for North Dakota once again. But as you said, the redirect, he just comes flying in out of seemingly nowhere to dunk that ball home and take the lead.
Now over to the side. That's decently on. Oh, no. Oh, no. This is going to be the University of North Dakota that is absolutely gifted at this goal right here. Lavish misses a shot that ultimately wouldn't even been on point, Soy. Hate to see it.
And here's the problem if you're Lavish on that play. You got to make a call because that's either got to be on net, you got to make that play, or you got to pull back and wait for the rebound save. And that's just, you can't hesitate in that scenario. And I think that's what ends up biting him.
I think it might have even been kind of like a split attention between both of those. Like, there was not a definitive, clear, connected decision that came out from the player on those, and that's simply that's the song that you have to sing when you're playing on defense like that, and it's so closely on point with no other rotating teammates nearby. Happens. That's just micro-analysis at this point. Still fantastically done all the way through. Geek to the top, Lavish on outside to nice little redirect, so that's going to be popping action out here. Set of foresight again, whenever this ball is spent with a little bit more time aloft on defense, what you're going to have is a situation that is advantageous that wise. You're giving this team a little bit of time. Rotate, come through, respond, communicate, everything in between. Halftime now, Soy.
Yeah, and I like the offense right now from North Dakota. They're not getting a whole lot of shots on net, but they're making these defensive plays very awkward for the side of Depaul. No real clear chances, but maybe a clear shot the other way. Jocko takes the lead.
Nicely done. So DePaul University taking the lead back, which is, of course, Soy, the situation they have mostly enjoyed so far in the specified matchup.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're looking at, remember we were talking about that time of possession statistic? This feels a lot more even, right? This feels a lot closer.
Yes.
I mean, we're only halfway through the game, but still.
2 minutes or so, like you said, barely past halftime. What I always say, though, is whatever the score is... Oh, my God! Lavish just walks the dog down low with the blow right there. Easy peasy, getting right past defenders and more. So, yeah, Shikuki actually kind of comes into play defense at the end, but that's another University of North Dakota defensive fault that yields another point.
And again, the last man back is kind of left hung out to dry for North Dakota, as I think Shikuki wanted the demo there. It forced a defensive play, and Lavish just played it smart. But that being said, North Dakota, I mean, this offense has got plenty of chances. They've gone very aggressive for these bumps on net, trying to get this game back to even.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if we see a lot more fireworks like that. So if we see a whole lot more explosions, that's almost perfectly on point. Doesn't matter. Lavish is there all day long with a perfect redirect at the goal line after Jacko puts this down, but not fully all the way in.
I mean, Jacko, that first shot I thought was going to be on net. And if you're the defender on the goal line, what do, right? You got to either respect the shot or try and find that rebound. And Lavish, just with perfect positioning, dunks that one home.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now to the middle again. Cannonball almost chips this one in for another explosive play right there. Not going to happen. Would have been very nice. Would have been very nice for the side of the University of North Dakota. They're looking down at 3 scores now in about 70 seconds. Not going to be so easy.
Ooh, especially not if this bump comes through. Lavish on the double tap. Does he have it? He does have the angle once again. 6-2. DePaul's woken up.
Absolutely. 4 scores now. Does that sound like Abraham Lincoln? 15-second average or so is what will be required to have this University of North Dakota squad wake up here, tie it on up, and then push this to an overtime. This is game 2, of course, so if they do lose this, Soy, it's still not going to be done, dusted, and dead situations. Still have another opportunity about that, but that will be a full reverse sweep situation. Nobody wants to go down to that after game number 2.
That was such a clean passing play, but now North Dakota in transition. We talked about how earlier that's where they'd found success, but right there, everyone hustling back on the side of DePaul, and this offense, it's just kind of a little out of sorts. Not a whole lot of pace to it after, those kickoffs.
Yeah, it's an apt analysis. Succinct points, man. I like it. I like it. Jacko outside. Jacko past the side here. Nice little tap of the first, but doesn't get the second. Wow, now that's Lavish. He's perfected that play a couple different times. Oh my God, I thought Geeks actually was about to use Jacko's front car there to actually get this one in. Even if they hadn't, obviously that's only a 30, if they hadn't tied all the way up, I would have lost my stuff.
Oh, oh no, that's not going to be, that was a dangerous shot on net actually from Shikuki. Both players responding to it, but I mean, this game was just a complete, DePaul won game number 1, but it felt like North Dakota's game, right? This is a complete turnaround. DePaul, this offense exploded in this, especially in the second half of this game. Just look at the shot totals. You feel like the shot totals are practically even, and yet DePaul put 6 home. That's crazy. Yeah.
The simple fact of them having 6 defensive saves as well tells me again, Soy, that this is not for lack of trying for the University of North Dakota's squad. Really, they are getting these opportunities, whether or not it's squandered in the form of not having a teammate there rotationally to be able to back you up. Again, because it's always about that second shot more so than the first. But this is just University of North Dakota squad that needs to coordinate just a little bit more. Just kind of clean up these edges and then take these opportunities that you're very clearly getting. Nobody's getting shut out here, Soy. The opportunities are happening. Just need to make them turn into points.
Yeah, you go back to that game and you think about all the chances that North Dakota had. How many crossbars did they hit? How many goal line saves have been made by DePaul? As you said, 6 saves on the side of just mostly 2 players on the back half for DePaul. So North Dakota, I think you're right. Just clean up a few things here or there. I still think they get slogged down in these corners a little bit. But once this offense can get going, if they can get to that backboard, that's where North Dakota really can thrive. We'll see if they can make that adjustment in Game 3.
We'll definitely see if it's going to happen again. It's going to happen right now. It's going to have to start at least right now. No substitutes, correct?
No substitutes on either side. And, I mean, I wouldn't want to have it any other way. This game has been back and forth, and Geeks with the dunk is going to strike first.
So far, what we're looking at is a really the fastest technical goal on stream so far has been 13 seconds. That was Rocket League time. That's what we're kind of use here because and I say Rocket League time because again, first in 10 seconds, 13 seconds or so of that is going to be attributed to the game kind of like warming up or whatever else like that. It was only truly like 5 or 6 seconds of game time.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the kind of start you're looking for if you're North Dakota. We talked about how quick they are off a kickoff earlier. You know, they got a couple chances, but they weren't able to really score last time. But now the pressure on here on this defense. Shakuki on the flick. He's got the top corner. Shakuki scores.
Wow, in fantastic flashy form as well. Let me get some more of those, right, Soy?
Oh, this is highlight reel stuff. I mean, just the control, right? He gets that ball onto the hood of his car and then just waits, dribbles it, realizes he's got the space, gets that ball to the back of his car, and the flick over top of two was fantastic.
Yeah, it really does not get much better than that. If you're friends with this player, might want to do him a favor and get that little clip action started here on Twitch. YouTube's getting it soon, I believe. That's from what I've heard. Not 100% sure on that. We'll talk about YouTube later. Shakuki. Corner played. Shakuki just absolutely yeeted out. Lavish taken out in much more flashy and explosive ways. That's a polite way of asking to leave. To the middle. Lavish, perfect positioning on that one. Lavish doesn't get the right place, right time on that. That would have been a score. All day.
And that was a really smart shot, too, from Cannonball because he got it underneath the defender. He waited for the defender to pre-jump, make his move. But luckily for Depaul, there was someone back. And now you're just kind of seeing back and forth action because not a whole lot of... They're both upping the pace with a little bit of control. That's a great redirect to the middle. And both players there on the side of North Dakota able to make the save.
Yeah, so the simple pace of this game, kind of like you alluded to, Soy, has simply turned up a little bit. It has simply gone from 10 to 11. That makes a lot of sense given out where we're at right now, but I will guarantee you will be not be the fastest that we've gotten so far. Shakuki actually with a open net, is that fair? Like that was about as open as it gets, right?
The defender came out a little bit too far. He might have been able to get the piece of it, but Geek's still over there. But again, overextended.
Living and loving the lavish lifestyle. That so far what we're looking at is a player that is across 2 minutes now. Across 2 minutes. 3 shots, 1 save, and a goal. Second highest points or scores total as well. Just in case you're unfamiliar with Rocket League, obviously you get 100 points for the score. It kind of goes out after that, but really the more interesting one, the less obvious one, is the 2 points that you get simply for touching the ball every single time. 20 seconds away from halftime, Soy. What are we looking at?
I mean, right now it's still in that kind of upbeat, back and forth, play the ball, see if you can find a way to center it. But I feel like the control is just more in Depaul's favor. That being said, that's actually a big demo, as that's going to leave it on a 2-on-3. Can they still find it? No, good save off the backboard.
This is the opportunity that I'm going to take to always say that if you're going to take demos... Oh my god, what a fast shot! Man, oh man, blink and you'll miss it here for Jacko. Yeah, Jacko, excuse me. Yes, it was assisted right here, but if you're Red Rocket, you did everything that you really could there to try and block that away, so you shouldn't feel bad about this one whatsoever, I feel like.
That's such a hard play for North Dakota. I mean, you got to backtrack, and that's a huge save from Geeks. That's everything in the tank for him. What a save to keep his team alive.
Yeah. Every drop of gasoline was invested into the stretching of that car to get that one. Cannonball comes back on offense in a similar fine, flashy way that he did on comes into defense in the same flashy way that he did on offense. Now we're getting close. Oh man, Lavish just misses this one by a hair's breadth, and just like that, Depaul University going to be on defense. That's a miss from a Cannonball player on the way out, not on the way back in though. Offensive pressure now completely swapped. If we've hit 100 seconds, Shakuki getting aggressive with it, getting really just violent with this one. Lavish finding that one as well. That's decently on, but not going to be enough.
Well, the
Too
chip
high.
shot.
Oh,
And
man.
there's so many chances that have gone by the wayside, just off the post or right into a defender. I mean, right now, North Dakota can't buy a goal.
Yeah, even if you got, these guys sitting around, sell, they can't buy to keep it relevant with your current little stock market action, right? That's never been more interconnected with your gamer mentality. And again, not without lack of trying. University of North Dakota drops this game, doesn't matter. I still give them everything for the amount of shots they've had here. Defensive opportunities from Depaul being forced out and really forcing them to shine so much. Offensive stuff is there all day long. Back out to the corner. This is Cannonball now, looking to sail into the top of this one, getting it started offensively. Momentum for Ball is there. A very weak touch on corner, and Cannonball doesn't anticipate that, and so he doesn't get a lower blow in there while his car is flipping around like he could have been able to. Cannonball back to the middle. Nope. Lavish is putting up the orange wall on this one.
And that's just, I mean, DePaul's defense rotating back. Shakuki nearly on a soft redirect, and Jocko leaving it down in front once again. These passes to the middle have been there all day, but maybe in transition. No, Lavish with another save. That's a savior medal for him, and as time expires, I mean, North Dakota put everything they had out there, and somehow DePaul said no.
Wow, yeah. So, very determined on this one. That is your DePaul University squad. We anticipated that this might have been a little bit more one-sided, but my God, these 0-3s were still very, very, very close. And again, have to repeat this, not for lack of trying. 11 shots attempted for the University of North Dakota squad here. That's going to be 10 attempted for the DePaul University squad. But Jacko showing up with these saves, Lavish was only attributed to the 3 of them, but Jacko with 5, that numerically higher, doesn't matter. The flashiness to it, the skill tier required to simply get some of these plays, even drawn up in your head, Soy. All Lavish all day long. Defensive opportunities coming out from him, and he just absolutely makes them sing.
I mean, yeah, DePaul, for as close as the series was, DePaul clutched it out every single time, and I gotta give credit where credit's due. Between Lavish and Jocko, that offense really showed up when it needed to, because, you look at the saves on North Dakota's side, 4 and 1, 5 overall, 4 out of the side of I'm blanking on the player there, but still, it was fantastic stuff to both sides. It was just a matter of catching players overextended more often than not. We thought North Dakota might be able to, but it was actually DePaul catching that extra third man, little too aggressive, little too far forward, and it was a fantastic series to start the day.
That really, really, really was the defining factor all the way through here. The simple factors of having these breakaway plays. It's not so much that we saw cross-pitch goals and whatnot. It's not like we saw players taking these from the corner or goalies getting shots in from across the way. But the simple fact of the matter is that offensive teams, both sides now, were able to get it past these defenders kind of at this half-pitch kind of location just far more often than maybe one would anticipate, really. Yes, North Dakota got it past there, but the simple fact of being able to get it very, very close, kind of chip in defensive opportunities on DePaul's side, they're just simply able, yes, sometimes it took literally 100 or more boosts, literally them using initial boost, picking up side or corner, and then using that just to get there, doesn't matter. It's only a resource because there's a finite chronological amount, but that comes back. Boost will be there, won't ever go away, I promise you.
Yeah, that was just a very close series, and you're right too, because I do have to say, at the end of the day, between Jocko and Lavish, the two of them were fantastic in this series, and I feel like they were really the difference makers. I'm going back to the play where Lavish drives up the wall, passes it straight down to Jocko, who just fastballs it down the middle, and it's plays like that I think really made the difference, where DePaul found the space to really capitalize, and that's just something that North Dakota, they're gonna have to work on for next week.
Yep, I always say it, Soy. If you go forth, you take an L, you don't learn anything, you efficiently and effectively lost twice. Back with you guys with what is this? San Jose State University, and Marquette. We're going to try to get a little interview action for you guys as well. We're not running behind schedule. We don't do that here. We're just not exactly where we want to be chronologically. So we'll try and figure that in if we can. Otherwise, FBI Tugboat here, Soy Sauce over there, somewhere around there is Build on the producing, and we'll be back with you guys one way or another to kind of give you a breakdown of what we'll see next either way. Don't tune away. I would take it personally.